Perfect Fit Closets using the 2020 Design Spaces platform. This is Sherwin Keeley with Perfect Fit Closets. We're going to talk about designing using a 1/4 inch or 0.25 inch variance off the walls. I have my 2020 platform open, and let's go ahead and create a simple reaching closet. As always, we're going to go up. We're going to go clockwise. We're going to hit 24, hit enter on my keyboard. I'm going to go clockwise to the right, hit 80, hit enter, and down, and hit 24, and hit enter and escape on my keyboard. I've got 3 different placement zones, and I'm just going to go ahead and right click on the wall itself and deselect the placement zone off wall number 1 and wall number 3, apply and OK. And I'm going to select my placement zone by double clicking in this area, and I have my split screen. So to understand the variance, we have to understand the construction of the walls. So let's go ahead and grab my little tool here. So right now, in the construction process, there's currently a wooden stud here, 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 and then 16 inches. And I'm just estimating here where the wooden studs are going to be. Now, these are the wooden studs. And because the 2x4s aren't straight, the drywall is not going to be straight. Sometimes the drywall kind of bows like this. And sometimes it bows kind of like this a little bit there. So again, it just really depends on the construction of the home. I've never seen a true straight perfect wall ever in my lifetime. So to make it easier for the installers, we got to give it a little bit of a variance. So let's take a look at a couple different variances. So here is an example of some photos of a 1/4 inch off the wall. We can see right here that we have a line, and this is flush against the wall, but it's actually designed with a 1/4 inch off the wall. Closer to the top, which unseen, we can see that there's a little bit more variance, and then because it's bowing a little bit, the panel is now touching the wall on this side here, and at the bottom all the way through. There's a little bit of a gap here. If we move forward to a different picture, on the right side of the module, we have a greater gap here and slightly tapered to the lower there. Here's another overview. So we can see the line, we have a 1/4 inch variance. Some areas is touching the wall, some areas are not. So therefore, the wall is never plumb. So we can see that we're as flush to it as possible on the left side. And then on the right side, we have a little bit of a variance. So by adding a 1/4 inch variance on the left and right side, the installer doesn't have to add a filler, so they don't need to bring a table saw with them. And 2, it maximizes the space. If we make it exactly from my actual final measure, if I do it from left to right, the final measure from the top and the bottom isn't going to be the same because the walls aren't straight or perfect. So what's commonly used by most companies is to add a 1/4 inch variance on the left and right side, and therefore you can get a tight fit without having the installer recam the fixed shelves, resizing it and so forth, or if they don't have the proper tools. So this is probably the easiest method. The only thing they'd have to do at this point for cutting wise is cutting the baseboards. And that's really about it. So let's go ahead and give you an example of making a 1/4 inch variance off the left and right side. I'm going to go ahead and go into my local browser. I'm going to select my modules, and I'm going to put a tall module in the middle, a tall module on the left, and a tall module on the right, all with toe kicks. I'm going to work from, because this is a small space, I'm going to work for center and then work from left to right. Or I can go left to right. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to right click the illustration so I can see it a bit better. I'm going to make this 14 inches deep and 24 inches wide. We'll select on OK. There is another video on how to use modules, so I'm going to expedite this and just input my module here. To make a 1/4 inch variance, I'm now going to take a tall module, stretchable, formerly known as single. I'm going to drag it into my elevation view. Once I see my magnet, I'm going to, I let go of my mouse, left click my tall module, drag it into my elevation view. As soon as I see my magnet, I'm going to let go of my mouse by going to the far left as possible. So right about this location, let go of my mouse button. A new dialog box appears. I'm going to right click the illustration. And now I'm going to subtract the panel on the right because I'm going to share it with the existing panel. Any module depths that have the exact same depth, we can share panels. I can do two options to create a 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side. This is option 1. So I've got no clearance on the left, no clearance on the right. We're going to select OK. And because this is stretchable, I can resize this module. In my placement zone on the left-hand side here, it says here, center with wall left. Right now, the position on the wall left is 134 5/16 negative. So it's away from the left wall. I'm going to say that I want this a 1/4 inch variance off the left wall. So I'm going to type in 1/4 and hit enter on my keyboard. Now I've got a 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side. I can right-click the annotations, find my 1/4 inch variance, and left-click on move. And we can see that I have a 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side. Because I'm working from left to right, and that's how our module systems works, I can now right-click on the T-mod, left-click resize width, and this only applies, this row of resize width only applies that says stretchable. I'm going to left-click resize width. Now I can resize the width using my mouse. I'm just gradually going to the right-hand side. I'm going to go over past the panel and left-click, and I've attached it in place, and I still have my 1/4 inch variance. Let's do the same thing on the right-hand side. Left-click, tall module, stretchable, drag it in. Once I see my magnet, I'm going to go to my farthest left, and now I'm going to let go of my mouse now. A new dialog box appears. Right-click the illustration, subtract the panel on the left, and where it says clearance on the right, I'm going to subtract the 0, and I'm going to type in a 1/4 inch. I'm going to left-click on OK. And now I'm going to use my mouse. I'm not touching any buttons on my mouse. I'm going to move it to my farthest left, left-click once, and go to my right and left-click again. And now I have my 1/4 inch variance off the right-hand side. So this is going to be very similar to these photos that we indicated, so that we actually have a variance on the left and right side because of the bowing of the drywall. Here's another way how to add a 1/4 inch variance off the left side. Let's do that one more time, creating another elevation, another wall. Left-click room layout, left-click on the continuous tab, but actually I want it to be single-sided. Left-click on the continuous button. I'm going to go left-click once, go up. I'm going to type in 2-4, enter. I'm going to go to the right-hand side, hit 8-0, enter. Go down and type in 2-4, enter, and escape on my keyboard. I've got 3 placement zones. I'm going to right-click on the wall itself, left-click on properties, subtract the placement zones. So I'm going to left-click on the type tab, deselect the placement zone on wall 1, apply, and again, wall number 3, deselect the placement zone, apply, and OK. I'm going to left-click the placement zone for wall number 2, double-click the area, and I've got a new elevation. I'm going to left-click my tall module, let go of my mouse, right-click the illustration. We'll keep it at 24 inches wide to 14 inches deep. I'm going to now left-click to drop it in, and now I'm going to right-click, left-click on center. I've got a plus button. I'm going to double-click anywhere inside my placement zone, double-click, and it's centered. So now I'm going to take my tall module stretchable, left-click, drag it in, and now here's the second option of how to add a 1/4 inch variance off the left side. I see my magnet, go to my farthest working left and let go of my mouse. I'm going to right-click the illustration and subtract the panel on the right. Now this time, I'm going to say that I want a 1/4 inch variance off the left wall. I'm going to click on OK. Because we're working from left to right, we're going to go as far left as possible. So right there and snap into place. There it snapped 0 inches from the left wall. You can see in the placement zone on the left-hand side. Left click once and go to my farthest right. I'm going to go past the panel. Left click again. And now the program has reoriented itself to give it a 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side. You can see ever so slightly there, I have a guide. So it shifted everything from left to right. So now I have this guide, and this might confuse some people. So once I have my 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side, I can right-click my T-mod, go into my attributes, and deselect the clearance on the left. Left-click on variables, deselect the clearance on the left to 0, hit apply and OK. And my guide is no longer gone. It's gone, it's disappeared, which is great, and I still have my 1/4 inch variance off the left-hand side. In my personal opinion, the first way doing it by setting it a 1/4 inch off the left side and working to the right is the benefit. And on the right wall, it's fairly simple. I can left-click my T-mod, stretchable. And I always like to use my T module stretchable or my wall module stretchable for very tight spaces. Otherwise, I like to use the regular modules because I like to give it a very specific width. I'm letting go of my mouse button, right-click the illustration, subtract the panel on the left, and I'm going to make this a 1/4 inch variance off the right side. I can also type in 0.25 as well. We're going to click on OK, and we're going to drag it from the farthest left. Left click once, my farthest right, left click again. And now I've got a 1/4 inch variance off the left side and right side. So I'm just right clicking on the line and I want to auto dim the 1/4 inch and I'm going to select move. So I can see my annotations. So this is what's highly recommended, and we'll show you a video next on how to make a design using a 1 inch variance or greater with a filler. If you have any questions, please do contact us at support@perfectfitcanada.com.